Welcome to Wheels Up with Sunrise on Wheels. I'm Michelle Newman. Today's program is all about aquatic adventures. And like all Wheels Up episodes, it has 3 segments. First, I'll take you on a trip, looking at some amazing things you can do in the water, from floating on the Dead Sea to learning to surf, sailing around the South Pacific, whitewater rafting, kayaking, snorkeling, scuba diving, and we'll even take a quick ride in an underwater submarine. Next, we'll craft with Caroline, making our very own turtle, a surfboard, and a sailboat. Next, I hope you'll play trivia with Ciera as we play Aquatic Adventures Trivia. For most, the depths of the ocean are shrouded in mystery. Few venture below the surface of the deep blue sea, and even fewer have explored its far-reaching corners. Today I want to take you on a trip around the world, exploring a few unique water adventures. First, let's begin on top of the water. I hope that most of you have enjoyed swimming in a pool, lake, river, or even splashed in the ocean. But I want to begin today's adventure with something a little different. The Dead Sea is actually a lake found between the countries of Jordan to the east and Israel to the west. It's been a lake since its outlet to the Sea of Galilee evaporated around 18,000 years ago. The pool sits at nearly 1,400 feet below sea level, making it the lowest point on Earth. Its famously salty water, 10 times saltier than the Atlantic Ocean, is thanks to the huge quantities of minerals that have been trapped in the lake bed over these thousands of years. It is impossible to swim in the Dead Sea. Instead, you float, a little like a fishing bobber. No water wings or life vests are needed. The trick is to get out deep enough to be able to just pretend you're sitting in the water. Then relax as the salty water lets you float. Next, have you ever wanted to learn how to surf? I've tried it a few times in Hawaii, and it's really a lot of fun. Surfing is usually associated with warm ocean beaches, like those found in the U.S. states of Hawaii and California, and countries such as Australia. Surfers, however, do not limit themselves to warm weather or ocean waves. Some even trek through jungles to pristine beaches in Southeast Asia. A few even share the water with great white sharks in South Africa. Surfing is possible in all these places because the concept is simple. A breaking wave and a board are all that is needed for the sport. Sometimes you don't even need the board. This is called body surfing. The concept is simple, but the practice is not. Surfers paddle or are towed into the surf line, the area of open water where waves break as they near a coast. There, surfers sit on their board or lie on them and watch waves roll into the shore. A wave must be strong enough to ride, but not dangerous enough to toss the surfer as it breaks. When surfers see a wave they can ride, they paddle quickly to catch the rising wave. Just as the wave breaks, the surfers jump from their bellies to their feet, crouching on their boards. Being able to stand up is a mark of an experienced surfer. It takes a lot of practice and can be tricky, but once you get the hang of balance and timing, it can be quite exhilarating. What about taking a boat out onto the water? Here are a few of my favorites. Situated on the west coast of the South Island of New Zealand, hours from the nearest town, Milford Sound is where plunging cliffs and raging waterfalls meet inky dark waters. This is New Zealand's wild side at its absolute best. Famously described by Rudyard Kipling as the 8th wonder of the world, Milford Sound was carved by glaciers during the Ice Ages. Breathtaking in any weather, a cruise on the Milford Sound is amazing as the fjord's cliffs rise vertically from the dark waters. Mountain peaks scrape the sky, and perhaps the most memorable features of Milford Sound are its amazing waterfalls. While the most famous boats in Italy may be gondolas, few rides in the world will give you an eyeful of a vaporetto in Venice. It's equivalent to a water bus. These boats are an easy way to admire all the mansions and buildings that overlook the Grand Canal, and the lagoon will also be helpful for gaining your bearings when first arriving in the canaled city of Venice. Anchoring in idyllic bays, slipping into beautiful blue waters for a refreshing dip, warm breezes filling the sails en route to the next enchanted spot. Day after blissful day, a sailing holiday is a passport to another watery world, where land-based worries are blown away on the breeze. This one is definitely on my bucket list. The South Pacific is filled with more than 188 islands from Tahiti to Bora Bora, lined with swaying palm trees, crystal clear lagoons, and seas teeming with marine life. Humpback whales, dolphins, plenty of sharks, mantas, and huge schools of all sorts of fish. I dream of sailing, snorkeling, and sunbathing while admiring the turquoise sea, emerald mountains, and cobalt skies. What do you think? Would you like to give it a try? Whitewater rafting is an exhilarating activity as long as you're okay with cold water spraying in your face as you navigate falls and rapids. Today, let's take a ride on the Kicking Horse River. I like to think it's called that because when you're barreling down the rapids, you'll feel like you're riding on a wild bucking bronco. Originating from the icy glacial waters of Wapta Lake, the Kicking Horse River flows swiftly down 3 waterfalls. It's the wildest whitewater adventure in the Canadian Rockies. So what do you think of this? We can roam in the steps of the dinosaurs on a rafting trip down the Green River through the canyon of Lador, beginning in northwestern Colorado and ending in eastern Utah. This trip takes us through Dinosaur National Monument. It makes you feel as if you've entered another world. What was previously a flat Colorado desert landscape suddenly becomes 2,000 feet canyon walls. It's really quite breathtaking. Another fun way to explore on the water is by kayak. First built by the Inuit people in North America roughly 4,000 years ago, these vessels were designed to hunt on inland waters. Today, paddlers can glide through fjords, narrow straits, and oceans from a sea level perspective. In Alaska, wild coastline meets dramatic maritime mountain scenery at Lynn Canal, the deepest fjord in North America. Paddlers can maneuver a former Klondike Gold Rush route in search of orcas, humpbacks, river otters, and stellar sea lions. Next, let's jump into the water. Should we snorkel or scuba dive? When you snorkel, you stay at the surface. You wear goggles that allow you to look down and see the underwater world very clearly. Scuba diving, on the other hand, takes you one step closer to all the wonders beneath the surface. When diving, you maneuver around rock formations, flora and fauna to see everything up close. The feeling you get when deep underwater is incomparable. Snorkeling and scuba diving have another major difference, which is the way you breathe. To have fun while snorkeling, no complex equipment is used. A simple mask and a breathing tube do just fine. Scuba diving involves complex breathing with numerous tubes and a diving cylinder. Special training is required before you can dive underwater because you must understand the principles and usage of scuba equipment flawlessly. Otherwise, scuba diving can be dangerous. People have been snorkeling in some form or fashion for thousands of years. Skin and free divers around the world have been plunging into the depths of the ocean in search of food, pearls, and shipwrecks since long before recorded history. It wasn't until the 1920s off the coast of southern France the newly competitive European freedivers began experimenting with breathing tubes and masks that we now know as the modern-day snorkel. Soon, divers and beachgoers all over the world were seeking out the best places to snorkel. The entire Hawaiian archipelago is surrounded by incredibly snorkeling spots. But the Big Island, with more square footage than all the other islands combined, has much to offer. The underwater state park at Kealakekua Bay not only has technicolor coral and colorful fish, but it has a good dose of history too, as it marks the spot where Captain James Cook landed on the island, hit the water near Captain Cook Monument to see dolphins, turtles, and more. The Maldives is one of the most beautiful destinations in the world, but some of the island's greatest sights lie beneath the waves. The tiny islands that make up the archipelago are surrounded by aquamarine water that is home to some 700 species of fish, including tuna wahoos and butterfly fish. The water holds a multitude of other marine wonders too, like sharks, turtles, anemones, coral, and perhaps a friendly octopus or two. It's impossible to talk about the world's best snorkeling or diving spots without mentioning the largest coral reef ecosystem in the world, Australia's Great Barrier Reef. The reef is actually made up of 2,900 individual reefs that stretch over 1,400 miles off the Australian shoreline. Eye-popping coral, brilliant marine life, barracudas, manta rays, and the bones of ships that have crashed on the reef all make the Great Barrier Reef a must-visit destination. In addition to the more than 1,500 species of fish, several different species of whales and dolphins, it has an amazing 6 species of sea turtles. The nesting sites of the green sea turtle are called rookeries, and there are a total of 18 along the barrier reef. Sea turtles are among the cutest animals populating our seas. It doesn't come as a surprise that both divers and snorkelers are always very happy to spot them and swim with them. If you're ready to take the dive and experience scuba diving, why not do it at an underwater museum? Off the coast of Cancun, Mexico, the Museum of Subaquatic Art features more than 500 underwater sculptures, combining contemporary art with reef conservation, using specialized materials to support the growth of coral life and to provide a protected home for marine life. The submerged sculpture garden sets stills in contrast with the constantly moving Caribbean Sea. Spot abandoned Volkswagen bugs, and there it looks like a group of businessmen with their heads buried beneath the sand, all while surrounded by amazing schools of fish. Now, what if you want to venture into the water without getting wet? Well, guests of a private island resort in Fiji are invited to explore the deep blue sea in their very own submarines. The Deep Flight Super Falcon, a 2-person winged submarine, allows underwater explorers to navigate the depths of the South Pacific Ocean without ever getting wet. The adventure boasts unbelievable views of majestic coral reefs and vibrant tropical fish. And thanks to Super Falcon's state-of-the-art technology, divers say it feels a little like flying through the ocean. I would definitely give it a try. What about you? Well, our trip around the world looking at amazing and fun water adventures must come to an end. Which one was your favorite? I look forward to seeing you next time. Well, that was fun. Let's go craft with Caroline.
I'm so excited to do arts and crafts with you today. Today's video is all about aquatic adventures. So today we're going to make a turtle craft, a surfboard, and a sailboat craft. I hope you have fun. The first craft we are going to make is a surfboard. So what you will need is a sheet of paper. I'm using white paper so that I can color on it, but you can use a light color too so that you can see what you draw on it. And you also need some markers or crayons or something to draw with, and some scissors. And if you want, you can also use a pencil to draw out the design for the surfboard. So first we are going to draw the shape of our surfboard. So I'm doing it the long way, but you don't have to. You can make it shorter if you want. So what I'm going to do is just draw a line, a curved line down my paper like this, and then a little bit next to it, around here, I'm going to draw another one. Like that. And now I'm going to cut it out. So now that I have my surfboard cut out, I'm going to draw some designs. So first I can draw some waves on the bottom. Like that. And then I'm going to draw a line in the middle of my surfboard, all the way from the top down to the waves. And now you can draw whatever designs you want. You can draw a sun or some flowers or birds or fish or whatever you want to make it your very own surfboard. So now, as you can see, I sketched out some flowers, and now I'm going to go over them with my marker. So as you can see, they're like little hearts almost, so they're just like petals like this, and they go towards the middle. And these look like Hawaiian flowers, but you can make them look different. You can make them however you want. And I'm making this one orange, and then I'm putting the middle. And now I'm going to do the same thing over here. And now I'm going to add in some fish and some birds and a sun. I'm going to put a sun over here. So I'm going to draw a circle and the eyes and a mouth. And then I'm going to draw the little rays coming out like that. Now I'm going to draw some fish. And then I'm gonna draw some birds. And I'm gonna add one more bird, two more birds like that. So this is my finished surfboard, and if you want, you can add words or whatever you want to yours to make it your own. You can even color your background. So now we are going to make a sea turtle craft, and what you will need is one sheet of paper, and I'm using light green, but you can also use white and color it or whatever color you want. And you will also need some markers or crayons or something to draw with, and you also need scissors and glue. So first I'm going to cut out a circle out of my green paper for the turtle's body. Just like that. And now we're going to draw some designs that are going to be on the turtle shell. So first I'm going to draw some lines. I'm using green and blue, but you can use any colors you want. And then I'm going to draw some shapes. Well, first I'm going to draw a circle around here, like this, and then I'm going to draw my shapes. Just like that. And now we're going to draw some lines. Like this, and you can switch between your different colors. There's a little space in the middle like that. And now we're going to make our turtle's back almost like 3D. So I'm going to cut a little slit in my circle, just like that, almost to the middle. Don't cut all the way through. And then you're gonna put some glue on one side. Only a little bit right next to it. And then you're going to take your paper and you're going to put this side over this side and make sure to stick it really well so that it stays. And now your turtle shell is almost like 3D, and it's kind of like a cone shape. So now I'm going to cut out of my green paper, I'm going to cut my turtle's head, and that's going to be a little shape like this. So that's my turtle's head. Put that off to the side, and then I'm going to fold my paper. Like that. And I'm going to cut, these are going to be the legs. I'm going to show you how to draw them, and you're going to want to make sure that they're big enough because they're going to stick out from underneath the turtle's shell. So I'm going to draw a line up like this, and then it's going to go back down like that. So now I'm going to cut it, and make sure that you cut along the side that's not folded. Just like that. So now I'm going to take one of these pieces and I'm going to put some glue on the bottom. And then I'm going to take the shell and I'm going to put it on one side like this. So you can tuck it under a little bit. Then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. then with the other ones. And make sure that when you put on your front legs, you want to make sure that there's enough space to put the head in between them. So now I'm going to glue on my head. Just like that. And now you can draw some eyes and a mouth or whatever else you want to draw. Just like that. So this is my little 3D sea turtle, and if you want, you can add more designs to it, and you can add whatever you want and make it really fun, and you can even name it. So now we are going to make a sailboat craft. So what you need is a few different colored pieces of paper. I'm using 4 different colors, but you can use as many as you want, and you can always use white paper and color it. And you also need some glue and some scissors, and if you want to decorate your background, you can use some markers or some crayons. So first what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut my orange paper, which is going to be my boat, and my blue is going to be my background. So I'm going to leave that, and I'm going to cut my orange into a big triangle. Like this. So now, before I glue my triangle on, I'm going to fold it down just a little bit, like this, so that it looks more realistic, but you don't have to do this. And then I'm going to glue it on, and I'm not going to glue it all the way on the bottom. I'm going to glue it a little bit higher up because I'm going to put the waves on the bottom later on. So a little towards the bottom, but a little bit higher up. Like this. So now I'm going to make the sails for my boat, and they're going to be yellow. So I'm going to take my yellow paper and I'm going to cut a big triangle. And then I'm going to cut it in half. So now I have my 2 triangles, and I'm going to cut them down a little bit, and I'm going to make sure that they're the same size, so I'm holding them right next to each other. Like this, and I think this is pretty good because I think it looks cool when they're a little bit taller than the page, but you don't have to. You can cut them down so that they're shorter. And now I'm going to glue them on, and I'm going to space them out a little bit so that it looks like the wind is going in between them. So I'm going to put it right here, the first one. And then the second one is gonna go next to it with a little bit of space in between, just like that. So now I'm going to take my darker blue paper and I'm going to cut a strip all the way across. So I cut it, and now I'm going to accordion fold it. So I'm going to fold it like this a little bit, and then fold it, and then flip it and fold it backwards, and then flip it again and again, and then I'm going to push it down, and then when you open it up, it looks like waves. So now you can glue it down. You can, if you want, you can glue it down only on the first one and the last one so that it stays 3D, like this. And you can always add, you can add another layer of waves, and you can also add, I'm gonna add some birds in the sky. And now my sailboat craft is done, and you can add whatever you want to your background. You could add more waves, or you could decorate your sailboat even. I hope you had fun making these aquatic adventure themed crafts with me. Bye!
Thanks, Caroline. Let's go play trivia with Ciera.
Hi everyone! My name is Ciera, or Cece for short. Welcome to the trivia portion of Wheels Up. I am so excited to play trivia with you today. We are in for some fun with 10 questions to puzzle your puzzler. We have 4 answers and only 1 that's correct. Can you figure it out? Well, are you ready? Let's play! Welcome to Aquatic Adventures Trivia with Sunrise on Wheels, Wheels Up. Question number 1. The reason why people can float effortlessly in the Dead Sea is because of A, the special mud, B, the high saline content, C, the oxygen-rich air, or D, the great ice cream. Yum! The answer is B, the high saline content. There's a lot of salt in that water. Question number 2. Where can you visit an underwater museum? Is it A, in Fiji, B, in Alaska, C, in Hawaii, or D, in Cancun, Mexico? An underwater museum. In Cancun! Who first created kayaks thousands of years ago? Is it A, the Cherokees, B, the Mayans, C, the Inuits, or D, the Incans? Tricky question 3. But if you guessed the Inuits, you were correct! Great job! Question number 4. What should you wear on your feet when you're snorkeling? A, slippers, B, shoes, C, dive weights, or D, fins? What do you flip around in when you're snorkeling? Fins! You got it! Question number 5. How can you explore the ocean floor without getting wet? A, in a submarine, B, in a kayak, C, on a jet ski, or D, on a water pod? A submarine will submerge you underwater, and you can see all the cool things in the ocean. Question number 6. What part of the wave do you surf? Is it A, the crest, B, the trough, C, the face, or D, the slope? Any of my surfers out there? There must be, because you guessed correctly, the face. Question number 7. Where are great places to snorkel or scuba dive? A, Hawaii, B, the Maldives, C, the Great Barrier Reef, or D, all of the above? You guessed it because you're right. They are all wonderful places to snorkel and scuba dive. Bloop, bloop. Question number 8. Where is Milford Sound? Is it in A, New Zealand, B, the United States, C, Argentina, or D, Australia? Do you remember Milford Sound? Where was it? You're right, in New Zealand. Great job. Question number 9. What is a water bus or a taxi called in Italy? A, a gondola, B, a vaporetto, C, a cappuccino, or D, linguini? A water bus or taxi in Italy is called a vaporetto. Woo! Great job. And our final question, number 10. Where is the Green River in Dinosaur National Park? Is it in A, Alaska, B, North Dakota, C, between Colorado and Utah, or D, in Maine? Where does that Green River flow? If you guessed between Colorado and Utah, you are correct. Great job with trivia. Woohoo!
Wow, you did such a good job. Thank you for playing trivia with me today. I look forward to playing with you again soon. Bye!
Thanks, Ciera, and thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to watch more Wheels Up episodes, you can find us on YouTube at Sunrise Association. Wheels Up has its own playlist. Or download our app at Sunrise Studios. I look forward to seeing you next time.